welcome to the Buddha Brunch. I am Ned Kelly. Buddha Brunch is a show where I get people on to talk about creativity, about spirituality, no matter what their path, no matter what that looks like. The Buddha nature, referring to that light, that divine intelligence in all of us. So don't get thrown off by that word Buddha, nor brunch. Brunch means having fun, hanging out with friends. I'm joined by a very wonderful friend of mine today, Sharon Kay.
Thank you for inviting me, Ned.
Thanks so much. Sharon is a licensed Unity teacher. She has a master's in psychology.
Correct.
Let's see. She serves at Unity of Independence, Missouri, as the worship leader.
Correct.
Sort of a platform.
With Reverend Tom Thorpe.
With Reverend Tom Thorpe. She is also, for several years now, a Silent Unity Prayer Associate.
4 years.
Wow.
Anniversary in May.
Well, happy anniversary. And she is the author of this book, Shape-Shifting. Shape-Shifting, which we will largely be talking about today. That's not all we're going to talk about today.
I hope not.
All right. But congratulations on self-publishing this book. And you can follow Sharon at sharonkay's.website.
Correct. No .com, no .org, just .website.
That's fun.
Yeah.
That's kids these days with their dots and what they're putting after the dot. Awesome. Well, again, thank you for being on the show.
Sure.
Why don't you kind of give us a summary of your life? How's that? Give us a little.
In 20 words or less, right?
Yeah. Just a little bit, perhaps, about your upbringing, family life, and your religious or spiritual upbringing. Whatever comes to.
All right. Well, first of all, I was born in San Antonio, Texas, by a mother who had been a sergeant in the Women's Army Corps, and she reared me by herself as a single parent back when that was seldom done. She was a very strict person, but on the other hand, it gave me some wonderful experience for learning about how to motivate myself. The Southern Baptist Church was my rock during my childhood years. I still love the fact that I got the scriptures very strongly, deeply embedded in me. But then there was a 25-year period until I found Unity Church of Christianity. And that has been a place where I have blossomed, I've grown, I have learned to follow my passion.
You sure have. You sure have. One thing that struck me really interesting in your book, talking about growing up, that intelligence and brains were valued for women, for young ladies,
yes,
in your church, in your family,
yes,
over appearance.
Exactly.
To an extreme, it sounds like.
Yes, we were taught, I mean, there are so many scriptures in the Bible that talk about beauty being vanity. We were not supposed to think of ourselves as pretty, as attractive. It was much more important to my mother for me to develop intellectually, to develop on all levels of spirituality, than it was. Well, actually, she did not want me to think of myself as attractive at all.
Interesting.
So now one of my goals is to help women to realize that they can be beautiful and intelligent at the same time.
That's great. I think a lot of women probably face the opposite challenge, the experience of being that your physical looks are valued over your intelligence.
Oh, I know that that's absolutely true in our society. And one of the goals of my book is to teach women that they do not have to be a size 2, 4, 6, 8 and perfection
To be appreciated.
in order to be beautiful and appreciated.
Nice. Very good stuff, Sharon. You have a CD as well.
Yes.
Right? Shape-shifting.
Yes, I did not call it meditation. I started to. But when people think of meditation, we think about going into the silence. And this is not about going into the silence. I'm convinced that the CD was channeled. It is 3 ascended masters. For those of you who are not familiar with the term ascended masters, that's people whom we consider to be spiritual leaders who have gone on before us, who are still available to us to help us in our daily lives if we ask them to. One of the ascended masters is Jesus. Another one is the Mother Mary. The third one is Sophia, the goddess of wisdom. And then we have a Archangel Raphael, who is the archangel for healers.
Beautiful. So there's a mix of, there's one side is a song.
Yes, the song is called Shaman Woman. It's written by Gary Johnson and sung by Gary Johnson, who is 2007. This is a long one for me. Iowa Rock and Roll Music Hall of Fame recipient.
Congratulations, Gary Johnson.
And a dear friend. And when I heard this title, Shaman Woman, somehow Shaman Woman and shape-shifting just seemed to be a marriage made in heaven. And so we got together and collaborated on the CD, and I am very, very pleased with it.
Yes, Gary Johnson is a wonderful person.
And you can find his things on YouTube also.
Yes. Maybe we'll put a link in the description.
Okay, sure.
Very, very good.
People our age probably have already had success of at one level or another on some program. But many of the programs to me do not give them all of the tools that they need in order to be totally successful, to heal on all levels. And that's what I'm here for. I love Weight Watchers. In my book, even though I am not preaching or teaching Weight Watchers, I tell people to find a program that works for them. And then my book is more on teaching them to love themselves, helping them to heal on all levels, physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual, not just the physical aspects.
One of my favorite parts was talking about writing a letter. So this is basically, it's a form of affirmation, denial and affirmation.
Yes. This is simply writing a letter to any aspect of your life that needs healing. Apologizing for your attitudes in the past toward being abundant, being wealthy. If money is a problem in your life, then apologize for the attitudes you've had over the years. For example, my mother, one of her little things was, my allowance was when she got paid, she would hand me a couple of bills and say, "This money's dirty." She says, "I don't want it, you can have it." Now, what kind of a lesson is that for a child growing up?
Negative relationship.
That was really negative. So I apologized in my letter for all that, and then I thanked money for all that it can do for us. I mean, I hear people talking about all of these multimillionaires and all of the bad things that they do. Well, I'm sorry, but there are an awful lot of multimillionaires out there doing a lot of good in this world.
Sure.
And it's really, I see things on a scale of 1 to 10. We can use things, anything, for bad, or we can use it for good. And you know, Ned, that unity doesn't talk about bad and good. It all just is. But we as human beings can use them in whatever manner we choose to use them.
Kind of centering ourselves in a point beyond judgment of good or bad.
Yes.
And yet, as far as the experience and what we're manifesting, our intention is to manifest the good, the positive.
Exactly.
Dear spirit of food, I have had a negative image of you all my life. Rather than nourishment for my body, I have used you as a narcotic to dull the pain of other issues. Finally, I understand that you are good equals God when used in moderation and making wise choices. I want to develop a positive relationship with you, and I believe I am ready. I love and bless you. Sharon. So that's a great example, I think, of shifting it that way.
It's also in the form of an affirmation when you think about it. Affirmations, we are taught, most affirmations are like 10 words or less to be effective. And the reason that they are short sentences is so that we remember them. And that way we can several times during the day affirm the positive that we want to attract into our lives.
Amen. And release that which no longer serves, which brings us to forgiveness.
Yes.
The power of forgiveness, you talk about that in here.
Yes.
Tell me more.
Well, first off, there were a lot of things in my past that I realized needed to be forgiven, starting with the mother who taught me to hate men, and going through 2 marriages, and if you can imagine, hating men, being married twice, you know, that probably fits together somehow there. With the power of forgiveness, I use the book Radical Forgiveness by Colin Tippings. He teaches that when a person really, really is nasty to you in this lifetime, the nastier they are, the more they love you on a soul level. Mm-hmm. Now that really resonated as truth for me. But I had come to the point of understanding that our souls choose the path that we're going to take in this lifetime. They choose not as a predestination type thing, but they choose as a means of our learning lessons that our souls need to learn on that level. So then when I can look at this person and say, wow, they really did love me a lot, as nasty as they were.
And that helps.
And it's very healing.
That helps in that shift, because I think most of us understand the value of forgiveness. We've learned that a lot. In most any religious or spiritual practice, it teaches the value, importance of forgiveness. Well, that's one thing to say it's important to forgive others and to forgive yourself. It's another thing to actually do it.
It is. And in regard to losing weight, or releasing weight as I prefer to call it, because if you say I'm losing weight, well, that means that you can find it again.
Yeah.
But with releasing weight, to me it's kind of like peeling the layers from an onion. That as we heal one thing, then we can actually physically see ourselves change.
That ties right in. You're letting go,
Yes.
letting go of all that does not serve. So being able, as far as forgiveness, to bring to mind those people or situations that done you wrong, and then to think of them in a sense of gratitude. Thank you for what you've brought into my life and my experience. That allows that shift. That can
Yes.
help. I can see how that can help. The willingness, I think just the willingness to forgive is a huge place to start.
Of course. Actually, we don't go anywhere without the power of will. And one of the things that I have based my ministry on is Charles Fillmore's 12 Powers concept. In fact, I would like to point out in the book that the logo, which I'm now calling my branding,
Yeah.
has all of the 12 powers in it. And all of those aspects, and one of the 12 powers is will. And we all have that power that it has to be activated. And how is it activated? By being willing for it to be activated. As a licensed Unity teacher, I could sit here and recite the other 11 powers, but I'm not going to.
All right. Love, faith, strength. Power is one of the powers.
Order.
How cool is that?
Order.
Renunciation. We just
Or
about got them all.
elimination.
Yes. Life. You know, a part I really liked in the book was where you said don't exercise. Because I don't like to exercise. But tell me, what can we do other than, well, what do you mean by don't exercise?
Okay.
And what can we do?
Well, what I mean by that, and number one, remember, Ned, that this book is really aimed at people who need to lose 75, 100, 200, 300 pounds or more. Exercise
The heavy
is,
hitters. The big numbers we're talking about here.
Yes.
Yes. The prestigious club
That's
of
right.
weight loss.
That's right.
All right. We're with
That's right. The person who needs to lose that much weight, and believe me, actually hold up the book, Ned, page 95 shows you my real credentials for this book when I weighed 300 pounds. We know that I've been there, done that. And you know, that's the Alcoholics Anonymous approach. It's been there, done that. Take my hand, let me help you. Well, the person who needs to lose 100 pounds or more, it's exercise, just getting out of the car and walking into the grocery store. When you have layers of excess fat rubbing between your legs, chafing and all, it is painful to even get out and walk. I remember going to doctors and it was, you know, just start moving, start exercising. And number one, Ned, exercise itself is not going to take the pounds off. I don't care how many miles you walk, how many hours you spend on the treadmill. If you go home and you eat a half of a pie, you know, you take it into the bathroom and eat it while you're taking a bath, you know, or whatever. And yes, I've done that.
That sounds fun, actually. Now I have a craving for pie. Thank you.
Think about all of the hundreds of thousands of calories
Yes.
in that half a pie. You cannot exercise enough to get rid of all that. You have to start counting your calories or your points. So what comes in to your body, what you put in, is what's going to show on the exterior. I tell people not to exercise, but I don't mean not moving.
Right.
Get up off of the couch. Stop being a couch potato. park your car further from the store, to walk in when you get to the point of feeling like doing so. But I suggest if a person needs to lose a lot of weight, that they wait until they've lost 20, 30 pounds before they even start. The reason being that you're just not going to feel like it. But once you lose that 30 pounds, you're going to start having a lot of energy. You're going to want to expend energy in ways that you hadn't even thought about doing before.
Nice. And when you do move, don't do work or exercise, something that's torturing yourself and just not fun. Do stuff that you like to do.
Sure. Maybe you and your husband, when you were smaller, used to like to go out and dance. Well, go back to dancing. Just anything where you're moving and enjoying yourself.
Do you have anything else that comes to mind that wants to be expressed?
Along with the book and the CD, which we didn't talk about, there's a coloring book too.
A coloring book, yeah.
And actually the coloring book was it must have been divinely channeled, because I'm not a coloring book woman. It suddenly started coming to me, images started coming to me, and then it came together. And then I was told, coloring books are all the rage now. I'm also making ornaments, and the ornaments are based on the design of the heart and bubbles on the cover of the book. The reason I'd say this is that on the back on some of them is a saying, I am loved. And it's just to remind people that I am loved by me, I'm loved by the universe, and I'm loved by other people.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, thank you very much, Sharon Kay of Shape Shifting, and all the CD, the coloring book, the ornaments, all that good stuff. And you can find her stuff at SharonKays.website. Thanks so much. We appreciate you. Can like the Buddha Brunch on Facebook. You can support these videos and my work on Patreon.com. And very, very good to see you and have you on.
Oh, yeah. You too, Dad. Thank you.